Hey, yo, guys, what's up? And today we're going to be running through our first levels in Everfall. So get ready, get strapped in. If it's your first time into New World and Aeternum, this is the video for you, getting your feet wet on the shores and through the first levels of your time in Aeternum. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I would love to hear your feedback on this video as well as all of my other videos that you guys have watched, and if you haven't, make sure to stick around to the end or click that link in the description to get the rest of my videos on the playlist of New World. So let's get into the first moments of your time in Aeternum on the shores of Everfall, the fourth and final territory in the starter series that I have put out. Let's do it. So as we are running up the beach here, you will find a few clusters of flint to grab. Make sure you can grab these as you will need them for, those baseline crafting items to gather, as well as woodcut and mine. So make sure to gather those as well. You'll be needing them for these first quests that you will get once you arrive at the watchtower. So Leeson will give you your first quest here. You'll grab it from him. Behind him there is a note that you can gather as well for that XP and some lore. As well, you can get some supply crates here for that solvent. Again, there is also a campfire that you can craft your materials at. So that skinning knife, that log cutting axe, that harvesting sickle, and the mining pick. So you'll be making your way down south here, gathering all the flint you can, as well as, those bushes for the greenwood to make those flint items. But let's go into some Lost here. So these guys are the Lost. They are, one of the first mobs that you will find throughout your time in Aeternum. Pretty simple to kill at a lower level, so clump them up if you can, get the most XP that you can in the shortest amount of time if you are trying to be efficient. Got a supply cache here, so those will give you materials as well as gear sometimes, so always open those chests and crates. Again, gather all that flint that you can. It is always useful to have on hand. So you'll reach a level 4 area. Make sure to be careful of the higher level areas here as you are leveling. This one shouldn't be that bad, but there are some areas in this zone that you will find do kind of get up there in level. So definitely be careful of that. You could get killed fairly quickly by, any high level mob that you do find. So you should be on level for any of these mobs down here. Kill that last guy and then head down here and you'll find yourself a big supply stockpile. So any stockpile that you do find is good to get, whether it be a supply, which will give you weapons and armor, as well as a little bit material on top of that. As well, provision stockpiles will also give you those materials for cooking and crafting. So check out those as well as other stockpiles for other materials. They're always great to find. Now you'll go north here, you'll get some bushes for that greenwood as we've talked about before. As well, you'll find yourself in a corrupted spot and killing some boars. So boars are, one of the missions that you do have to kill and grab red meat from to craft your rations, pork to craft your rations. So make sure to get that when you are going through this zone. Now stay out of these black areas as you will be gaining corruption, as you see in the bottom. It does tick away at that resistance that you may have, so make sure to stay away from that at low level. It will kill you quickly if you stay in it too long. Again, killing all the boars that you can, gathering as much as you can. I would make sure to get stone as well. This is great for gem cutting as fast as you can get it up. You will find gems through mining iron, as well as mining silver and platinum. Any of the precious metals are the easiest to get gems from, as well as expeditions. So look out for those throughout your time in Aeternum. They're a great source for those gems. Moving on to some herbs as we found here. Herbs have a specific set of table items to gather. So we've got, basil that comes from this. We've got sage that comes from this in Everfall. A lot of these items you will not find in other zones. Make sure to pay attention to which ones you find and mark them down. If not, you can actually check out maps and other resources throughout the web for those specific spots of materials, as well as, gathering throughout the time in Aeternum. So make sure to check those out if you are looking for the specific herb or item that you need. Encumbrance is also an issue in this game when you are going through Aeternum, so make sure to offset that by salvaging your gear. You'll press S and right click to reduce the amount of encumbrance that you have. Also, you'll find in your time in Aeternum that you will find these shrines. So the shrines are used for fast traveling, so you will use your Azoth to fast travel. Now, as we lower our encumbrance, this also lowers the fast travel cost. So make sure to lower your encumbrance as much as possible. This will reduce the cost of fast traveling in your time in Aeternum. As well, you see a tuning orb in my inventory. This is from the story missions, so make sure you're doing those story missions. This is the first expedition key that you will find called Amaranth Excavation. This is a great one to get. Obviously, it is through the story, so make sure to do those story missions, and you will be getting a crap ton of gems here, as you can see, as well as gear. So make sure you're doing that. Get through the story as fast as you can, and you'll be reaping those rewards. So after you've given in that final quest at that watchtower down there, you'll find yourself moving down southeast to the settlement of Everfall. Now, again, during your time traveling, make sure you are utilizing all of the materials that you will find, because they are great for early level crafting and putting on the trade post once you get there, depending if you find some good stuff or not. So if you have some decent stuff on you when you get there, it's always good to collect. As we can see, we've just found some berries. So berries are great for provisioning, as you can collect a crap ton very, very easily, as we found here. So we've got, 10 already just from a few bushes, and we'll end up with about 20 or so in the end of our collecting process here. So always great to have for our provision cooking, as it will give us more health as well. If you are, killing those boars, getting that raw meat, anything that is a square in your cooking panel here, you can actually add it to your toolbar. So additionally, water can be added to your toolbar. As you see here, I've got a decent amount of water. It almost encumbers me, but I can put it on the toolbar and that encumbrance is gone. So utilize that where you can. It's a great thing to have and to use to get your encumbrance down when you need to. Pretty early on in this zone, you can actually find iron over there. So iron is a great, entry-level resource to gather. So make sure you're grabbing that on your way up to Everfall's settlement. Another animal that you can look out for are turkeys. So these will give you poultry as well as feathers for arrows. It's a great source for those. They give a decent amount of feathers for those arrows, so make sure you're looking out for those guys, as they can be a little tricky to find in some areas. As well, we'll move our way up to the first little farm area here, and it is going to be called the Fallow Hill Farm. So in farms, you can find a bunch of provisionary materials that you can't find in other zones. So make sure you're checking them out. There are a bunch here that you could probably find fairly easily. Let's see what we can find. So this farm in particular, the Fallow Hill Farm, doesn't have a lot of provisionary materials as others do. You can find some potatoes here in abundance, but other than that, that's about it. There are some, mid-level harvesting motes that you can gather, as well as that soul rock over there that you can mine. That is a level 50 mining requirement, so if you do have that at that time, that is great, but if not, I wouldn't come back here to specifically mine it. There are plenty of other spots that you can actually find to gather those motes, although for the soul sprouts, I might as well, harvest that on your way through here. You should be able to do this at this time. If not, you could come back and gather this as well as them potatoes. Additionally, you can find wells in the open world. So here's a spot that you can find a well and gather that water. If you haven't found it already, make sure you grab some before you get to the settlement, as you will be wanting to craft a potion or two through the Arcana stall. So as we're going through to finding that settlement, we're going to find a note here. You can also go down to this little pond. Once we get there we will find a few things. You can actually fish in that pond and get some decent, trout, salmon, cod. As well, there is some briar, which you will find down there to craft your mana potions. as well as some, bushes, some rocks, a few other things down there that are fairly simple to find, and you can actually gather those fairly quickly. So make sure you're stopping there and getting that briar. So again, before you are making your way into that settlement, you're going to find another farm. You can find some good provisionary materials here, as well as some lost to kill. So grab that XP where you can. There's some corn and some other stuff you can find in there. As well, we'll make our way this way, and you can find hemp. So this is a great, low-level material for you to gather and provide yourself some gear through the clothing stall. And here's a cow. So let's kill the cow and see what we get. Usually it's just some hide, some red meat. Great for your low-level crafting and provision gathering. So as we make our way into the Everfall Settlements, we'll find ourselves looking at a few things here. So you'll enter from the west and you'll find yourself looking at a storage shed to your left, a few crafting stalls, as well as some faction areas here and here, and some more crafting stalls down here. So storage, you can actually put a bunch of stuff into here, as well as, putting it in here will not allow other players to view it or see it. So you will have that for yourself. You can actually transfer stuff from storage to storage, from settlement to settlement, through using some coin. So make sure to do that if you have the opportunity to with the faction. As you see, Covenant owns a lot of the faction in our server, so I can transfer things fairly simply without having to use Azoth to travel and get it myself. It's a great feature if you are part of the faction that owns a lot of the settlements. Now, talking about factions, you will see factions here: the Syndicate, the Marauders, and the Covenant. So talk to them. You'll get this around level 9 or 8. You'll gather that quest and find some more detail into the factions themselves. If you want to listen to them and find out a little bit more, they will be able to tell you a little bit more. Outside of the colors, that they provide to you, you will find that through them. As well, if you do pick a faction, you will actually get gear that is faction repped. So make sure if you like a specific color, choose it that way. If not, you can always just pick the most popular one on your server and have an easier time gaming. On top of that, you will find yourself a trading post. So this is a great place to place your items on the trading post and sell them. As well, if you are looking to buy stuff, it's a great place to find that there. Additionally, you will find yourself a warboard. So this is when siege is active on a fort. So if you are owning a zone, you will get sieged by other factions that own your fort and can push your reputation down in that zone. So if you are seeing that happen, make sure to find your faction quests and start them up to make sure that that doesn't happen. You will also find a town project board. So this allows you to upgrade your town. Once you have a settlement that is owned, you will find that you will be able to update your crafting and refining stations, as well as turrets in your fort and the gates. So make sure that you are following the settlements that you want to. As you complete these town projects, it will upgrade your territory and settlement. So if you don't want to upgrade a settlement that is opposite faction, make sure you are not doing those upgrades for the turrets or anything else that could weaken your chances of owning that settlement. And that'll do it. So I appreciate you guys sticking around to the end of the video, getting as much information as you can with your time in Aeternum and on the shores of Everfall. Now that we've ended this video at the settlement, we are going to go into some elite areas, some hidden chests, and some great materials that you guys would definitely need to know for the launch coming up on September 28th. Thank you again for all the support and feedback. I have definitely taken a lot of things into account when making these videos. So if you want to get more insight into Everfall and have more information than most, make sure to click the link on the screen right now. And as always, have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace.